This show contains language that is unsuitable for children.
Grant us love, filled with good intention. May we find peace in the midst of dissension. We not what they make us, though they try to break us. And say you love us, give you love. This is how we
Welcome to Straight Vibes, No Chasers. Raw talk on coming out of the closet about our fears and why we're so hell-bent on resisting our highest good. This podcast focuses on the African American experience concerning fear and our long-standing romance with mediocrity. You can follow and comment on the show topics on Instagram at SVNC_podcast or go to pennymurray.com, where you can also find out more about Dr. Murray's work, her book, Giving Myself Permission, and the African American Council on Fear. Now, here's your host, Dr. Penny Murray.
Hey, and welcome to Straight Vibes, No Chasers from Dallas, Texas. I just want to say, I made it through the second month of the year, February. I've never been a big fan of February anyway, but February 2021 has some next level bullshit added. So I say I made it through because February for me is a love-hate month. The first day of the month is the official start of Black History Month. Love it. It's the last chance for winter to show its ass, and it usually does. Hate it. And the first week of February is my birthday. Love it. Then there's Valentine's Day. Hate it. Of course, there's President's Day. Who gives a shit? I can count on one hand the presidents who genuinely worked for the minorities and middle class of this country. So, but you got all of that squeezed into that one short month. Valentine's Day is the real reason for my love-hate attitude towards February. It has not been my friend for many moons. Where others look forward to sharing expressions of love and appreciation with their significant others, I just try to get through it as quickly as possible without giving it too much of my attention. Of course, that's kind of hard to do when every store is bleeding to death with red hearts. And then every other commercial or internet ad is constantly reminding you. But back in the day when I thought having that special relationship defined who I was as a person, even then, Valentine's Day rarely gave me anything to look forward to. So I kind of put the bah humbug label on the whole Valentine's Day thing. But straight vibes, no chasers. I have a Grinch attitude about Valentine's Day because I always found myself in relationships with three types of men. They either wanted to use me, control me, or break me down. I never recognized this until I got out of the dating game. And I do mean game. My perspective about dating and relationships became even clearer when I also stopped looking for someone else to rescue and heal my feeling states. In other words, to make me feel significant or special. Looking back, I can see the way every one of those relationships pillaged and ransacked my self-worth. But at the end of the day, I allowed them to cause me to blame myself and question my worthiness. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Penny Murray. Still reeling from a near government coup and trying to manage COVID, the country continues to grapple with racial, economic, and political unrest. Add to all of that a week of what some now refer to as the winter outbreak of 2021. And in Texas, thanks to the greed and dark money politics, the winter outbreak included its own man-made disaster that resulted in deaths, property damage, and financial devastation for many Texans. I spent 3 days in a fully electric house where the electricity would come on twice a day for 45 minutes to an hour, and a small stream of water from just one of my faucets in below freezing winter weather conditions. For the first 2 days, I camped out in my clothes closet to stay warm. I even found ways to make the experience tolerable. Hell, I was even able to create a romantic setting of self-love in the situation. But by day 3, I was vacillating between anger and sadness. And of course, at least here in Texas, the winter outbreak situation, it didn't have to happen that way. That shit was all man-made. Those who created it escaped to higher quality conditions, while the rest of us saps, we were left to bear the consequences. And while my situation was uncomfortable, I began to think about all the people who were less fortunate than I was. And I found myself with another element to add to my love-hate relationship toward February. That whole winter thing started, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it started on Valentine's Day. So Black History, Valentine's, and President's Day stuffed into the shortest month of the year were totally overshadowed this year. Okay, they really were. But anyway, the other day I was sitting at my kitchen breakfast bar, looking out the window, trying to just reset and center my feelings. And my mind drifted, and I started reflecting on the first 2 months of 2021. Then I felt a sense of melancholy, and immediately a strong question popped in my head as to whether my faith in humanity is naive and stupid. I have always had faith in the soul of humanity. I believed that at our core, love and integrity would always prevail in all of us, no matter what. But here we are in 2021, the continued disregard for human life and well-being and the blatant and aggressive acts of racism are constantly showing the ugliness of humanity. I keep asking, how in the hell did we allow the greed for money and power to supersede valuing human life? Just as soon as I asked myself that question, I started seeing flashes of slavery and Jim Crow scenes that reminded me that the greed for money and power, it's not new. And of course, that didn't help me, feel any better. It just brought me more sadness. I then felt a sense of anxiety that humanity is something like the old Humpty Dumpty nursery rhyme character. For those of you who don't remember, I'm aging myself about right now. Humpty Dumpty was always depicted as a large egg with human features like arms and hands, face and all that other stuff, who was sitting on this palace wall. And one day he had a great fall. And all the king horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. That day, as I sat there thinking about the condition of humanity, I don't know, again, a sense of sadness that there aren't enough of us willing to do the work to put humanity back together again. My mind's heart was exhausted after I sit there for a minute. I was just exhausted with all the thoughts that was just flooding my mind. So I just closed my eyes and buried my head in my hand or in the palm of my hands. And I just needed to check out for a minute. And as I sat there drawing energy from the quiet darkness, my divine allies said, "You cannot base your faith on the fragile instability of the human ego. Your faith must be rooted in the security of genuine love, which is constant, eternal, unconditional, and consistent." As I heard that, I felt tears coming. I felt like my soul wanted to scream out, to release generations of despair, but I didn't move. But I just stayed quiet, and I kept my eyes closed and my head buried in my hands, and I just continued to listen. My divine allies went on to say, one spark can start a wildfire. A single light can be the beacon that leads others through darkness. Your responsibility is to keep your flame of love on fire. Manifest destiny will do the rest. I sat there for a few more seconds and then I heard, physicians, heal yourself. After that counsel from my divine allies, I got right up from the breakfast bar and I came to my office and sat down and began to write for this episode, mainly to encourage myself. Andrew Harvey has said that The crisis we are facing is a crisis in which the sacred powers of love in the human soul are being diverted by distractions, greed, ignorance, and the pursuit of power. In this chaos, the evolutionary energy of love is blocked from irrigating the hearts of humans and transforming the world as we should. I've said this before. These last few years have felt so different. Everything and everyone feels so far away, so disconnected. If we choose to be painfully honest with ourselves, over the last 4 years, we have watched the hidden negative energies and ills of this country come to the surface, driving us even further away from the light and energy of love. Long periods of human separation nibbles away at our physical well-being. But the most significant danger of prolonged separation is that it causes us to objectify human life, no more than an ideology or an object. And sadly, the life and well-being of others have become merely a calculation of dollars and cents. Social media is now the weapon of choice to tear down, humiliate, and attack others. That's where we are. The happenings in this country over the last 4 years, all of it is proof that there is a tremendous deficiency of love, more accurately, a deficiency of self-love. I'm no different than anybody else. We all want to love and be loved. But do we acknowledge and honor that we are love incarnate? Do we even comprehend that we are the physical extension of love's non-physical divine spirit? So this episode is dedicated to the evolutionary energy of love, especially Black love, which has braved the historical atrocities of overt and covert racism for centuries. Now, I also want to dedicate this episode to African American women whose unrelenting, irreplaceable energy throughout history has never faltered in being a cornerstone for the African American family, our community, as well as the world around them. And so while a part of this is to encourage my spirit to speak truth to these fears that I have, I'm certainly dedicating it to Black love. But I gotta do my 2 cents. Now, as I always say, I like to see this segment as my contribution to Black History 365. But on this episode, my 2 cents is going to be a little bit different. To usher in the evolutionary energy of Black love, I'm doing something that I'm excited about. It's a musical dedication to the mosaic wildfire of Black love. If y'all, are not impressed with this musical dedication, oh well, you'll get over it. But anyway, the artist that is doing this dedication to Black love is Rhapsody, also known as Erica Hawthorne Mannon. So here we go.
What is Black love? What is Black love? Love. What is Black love? What is Black love like? What are the ingredients to make its mixture? Are there hidden scriptures that add to its flavor? Is it Black love like back in the day? Black love like dashikis and afros and yo-yos? Is that love like a cup of faith brought straight from the church house to your house? Love at the altar when the pastor says a word, like deacons and mothers of the church gather around you while you purge your sins at the altar, surrounded by Black love like 3/4 cups of soul brought from Aretha's womb by way of Mahalia. That low soul singing, spirit bringing, conjuring up the good stuff, make you wanna shout and protest, dance in distress, make you wanna move in close to a love like yours, a Black love like back in the day, Black love like. Just add water so our skin can breathe, like water symbolic to our history, making the ingredients bittersweet, like water, like the sea that brought we here. And if there hadn't been enough Black love, we may not have made it this far. If there hadn't been enough black love, we may not have made it this far. If there hadn't been enough black love, we may not have made it this far. What is black love? What is black love, love? What is black love? What is black love like? What are the ingredients to make its mixture? Are there hidden scriptures that add to its flavor? Is it black love like back in the day? Black love like dashikis and apples and yo-yo? Is that love like a cup of faith brought straight from the church house to your house? Love at the altar when the pastor says a word, like deacons and mothers of the church gather around you while you purge your sins at the altar, surrounded by black love, say it. What is black love? What is black love like? What is black love? What is black love, love? What is black love? What is black love like? What is black love? What is black love, love? See, we put a catchy spin on this existence, but I remain convicted. It's deeper, it's longer, it's stronger than any river flow, any obstacle put in our way. Black love like master may come into our home to take what he please, but you are the only one I hold, love, the only one I embrace, love. That's love, love, love. Say it, say it. What is black love? What is black love like? What is black love? What is black love, love? What is black love? What is black love like? What is black love? What is black love, love? Taking all into your own and manifesting something wonderful out of something meant to hold you back. Don't let nothing hold you back. Black love is taking all the hate in the world, and since it must stop somewhere, when it stops with you take all 41 shots to your unarmed body. You take beatings and markings to your helpless body. You are anchored to a truck and dragged through the streets. It's not 1917, it's in the 1990s. It's shots in the midst of your fight for freedom, ending your speech complete, but not the fight for civil rights. It's Bloody Sunday. It's 4 little girls who lose their life on the Lord's Day. It's they taking all the hate, so we can go on chanting black love, go on living, giving black love. Say, what is black love? What is black love like? What is black love? What is black love like? What is black love? What is black love like? What is black love? What is black love like? Mr. MC, Mr. DJ, black love is not some coin phrase to throw over some beat. You taking my femininity self for a quick dime, and no, it's not 1809. It continues on sometime after 1999, 1999, 1999. Now you tell me how you differ between me on an auctioning block being sold for my attributes, and you chanting rhymes on the sexual things that I do as an added extra to your car and money. Now honey, my love is infinite. When God made me, his love was spent. Say it. What is black love? What is black love like? What is black love? What is black love, love? What is black love? What is black love like? What is black love? What is black love like? Black love is all those souls in history, taking all the hate away from we. So one day we can chant our poems, say, one day we can chant our poems. Black love is all those souls in history, taking all the hate away from we. So one day we can chant our poems, say it. One day we can chant our poems, say, that is black love, that is black love, love. That is black love, that is black love, love. That is black love, that is black love, love. That is black love, that is black love, love. Mr. MC, Mr. DJ, J. Black love is not some coin phrase to throw over some beat. You taking my femininity self for a quick dime. And no, it's not 1809. It continues on sometime after 1999. Now, you tell me how you differ between me on an auctioning block being sold for my attributes and you bragging, chanting rhymes on the sexual things we do as an added extra to your car and money. Nah, honey, our love is infinite. When God made us, his love was spent.
Okay, I hope you guys really enjoyed that because I remember growing up and seeing Black love in so many different forms. Some of them were broken, but largely as a young person, seeing the passion of Black love was just amazing. So I'm ushering in that energy because love is the only collective energy that runs through all human souls and every living thing. It keeps us forever fixed and bonded to each other. We cannot tear asunder, even though we do everything in our human power to cut down others. But love really is the only valid expression of life worth listening to. I really think that's what COVID has been trying to teach us, but we're just not listening. Connecting to love's evolutionary energy connects us to the purest universal energy flow there is. Love's energy is not dependent on physical distance or form, so it knows no limits or boundaries. It knows no loss or emptiness. And while it keeps us connected to our biological family members, friends, and other loved ones, it also connects us to our non-physical spiritual family. Its purpose is much larger than our shallow perceptions of love. Yeah, we crave love, we desire it, and we desperately seek it out, even in the darkest of corners. Why? Because we think love will heal our emotional wounds. We think love will absolve us from our sins, give us significance and meaning, save us from ourselves, embolden us with confidence, adore, honor, and appreciate who we are. And anyone who says differently is either in denial, afraid of love, or has made a pact with the darker energies in the universe. We want love to be our rescuer, our redeemer, our protector, our liberator, our strength. We're absolutely right. Love will do those things and so much more. But how many of us can say we have experienced the fullness of love? Do we really know when we are in the presence of love? I would venture to say not many of us actually know love. Those who do have felt the magic and the power of achieving it. Those of us who don't recognize when we're in the presence of love have unconsciously put our faith in specialness. This is when our need or faith of being viewed as better than in the eyes or opinions of others is stronger than our faith in love. We take on many forms and facades and costumes to gain the title of special in the eyes of other people. This dilemma is not entirely on us. We've been taught to have more faith in specialness than we do love. We're conditioned to believe love is obligated to us instead of love radiates from within us. And we've been hoodwinked into always looking in the wrong direction for love. Thing is, our faith in the feeling of specialness, it's an illusion. It is the greatest act of self-betrayal ever. Yet we would rather settle for feeling special than to know love, to experience its magic, its power, value, and grandeur. We're stuck in a neurotic, insecure, irrational life trying to protect our faith in specialness because we're scared of knowing the presence of love. So we're willing to cheat ourselves by accepting the feelings of specialness we get from others as a substitute for experiencing the fullness of love. Again, our faith in specialness is total self-betrayal. It sets us up to be criticized and judged by those Our fragile egos deem better than the concept we have of ourselves. So we're always in this desperate space trying to achieve or protect our feelings of illusions of specialness. Maintaining our feelings of specialness has an insatiable appetite, and feeding this need causes us to come off as needy and insecure as hell. And I've been there, and that is not a good look at all. Just think about it for a minute, okay? I just want you to think about all this just for a minute. We want to have a significant other, that special someone. We covet the special relationships we believe others have. Yet our faith in feeling special blinds us to the fact that we're unaware of the presence of love. And many of those so-called special relationships we get ourselves into are merely distorted imitations of love, or bargains we've made with our fragile ego and its many fears. We say to ourselves, as long as this relationship fulfills my needs of feeling safe and special, I'm going to make all the adjustments that need be to fit in or to meet its demands. The moment we internalize that thought, we compromise or betray genuine love. It also leaves us exposed to emotional abuse, because the moment that feeling of specialness is threatened in any way, we move into panic mode. And if our sense of specialness is not restored, we're susceptible to more significant acts of self-sabotage and self-betrayal. And when all else fails, we'll just pack up all our baggage of pain and regret and go in search for another special relationship to feed that insatiable appetite of our need to feel special. A relationship built on the faith of specialness is a bargain based on limits and conditions. If we were honest with ourselves, we know that our faith in specialness causes us to feel weak, insecure, insignificant, and fragile. We know that at any time, others who see us as inferior or beneath them will attack our feelings of specialness. So we're always afraid, yet we defend and affirm our faith in specialness more than we do love. The pursuit of the illusion of specialness constantly leaves us vulnerable to the sick forms of competition and comparison. Our faith in specialness is the great manipulator and mastermind of our wrong decisions and poor choices. Chasing after feelings of specialness is not our truth. No matter how lavish, flamboyant, serene, superior, or confident it may seem to make us feel, in reality, we know we're living in hell, trying to secure our feelings of specialness. Because at any time, the least little thing can throw our feelings of specialness into the chaos of insecurity. I'll say it again. Our faith and belief in specialness, whether conscious or unconscious, or the tools of a fragile ego. It's self-inflation at its best and self-betrayal at its worst. Our wounded and fragile egos have convinced us that temporary self-inflation is worth silencing or suffocating our true grandeur. So we willingly betray, resist, and devalue who we really are. Too often, we find ourselves trapped in an unfulfilling, emotionally unstable relationship. Let me be clear. No matter how much we lie to ourselves, littleness and grandeur cannot coexist. Let me put that more accurately. Our romance and comfort in littleness will never supersede or silence the truth of our magnificence. Our truth will haunt us with feelings of something more is waiting for us. It will haunt us about our willingness to remain ignorant to the presence of love and accepting something that is a shabby substitute. Our grandeur is much more than an illusion of being special. We don't realize it. Well, again, a more accurate statement is we're afraid to realize our life's truth. Now, what is our truth? Our truth is love created us like itself. We are love incarnate. the physical extension of love's non-physical spirit. The evolutionary spirit of love summoned us, appointed us as the savior, rescuer, redeemer, protector, liberator, healer of all that is around us. That one spark to set a wildfire. That's what we're here for. That's what we have been summoned to do. And so all the attributes of love we look outside ourselves for in other people and material gain is really comes from us. It radiates from within outward. What it's capable of manifesting from within us is astonishing. You could say evolutionary. And this is the truth we are most afraid of. The knowledge of our truth has slipped out of our consciousness only because of the brutality of our history, which forced us to quiet its calling and cheapen its brilliance. So throughout our history in America and the transfusion of our inherited weaknesses, we conjure up various ways to self-medicate just so that we can numb our senses to the greatness of who we really are. We believe a lot of bullshit and we create scenarios in our minds just to deaden the pain from denying and being fearful of our life's truth. But at the end of the day, we are still the spokespersons of love and all of its fullness. Now, whether we pick up that mantle and live it is another issue of giving ourself permission to speak, create, and achieve our life's truth. Because as long as we hold tightly to our faith in specialness, we will never experience or hear the genuine voice of love. Because the two speak very different languages. Because so many of us are still devoted to our faith in specialness, we remain in denial and fearful of our flame to start a wildfire. But to break the spell and reignite our fire, we have to at least begin to say it's possible. And with that, we can see things differently, to hear differently. We're in a time in history where we, especially as African Americans, have to speak truth to our fears, grapple with the uncomfortable fact that we really don't know when we are in the presence of love. And this is primarily because we don't realize we are love. Since slavery, our sense of self-love has been raped, castrated, brutalized, lynched, sold off, and murdered, just to name a few things. All of it has left us fractured and cracked like the Humpty Dumpty nursery rhyme character. Our relationship with imperialist white America has been like the three types of relationships I've had in my life: to use us, control us, or break us down. Our self-love has been split off from its truth. This is why my divine allies said, physicians, heal yourself. We have to do our self-work to remember or put back together our truth, to recall or call back our fragmented pieces so that we can be healed as a whole self. We got some scary shit to do as individuals and as a community. So we have to unlearn our inherited weaknesses, heal and set free the voices of our sacred expressive life force. And that includes accepting the reality of our grandeur and to embody that reality fully. To start the self-work of pulling back our truth, we have to undo our faith in specialness. Let it go. It's an illusion and the greatest act of self-betrayal ever. But see, when this whole notion of having faith in specialness was presented to me, it was like my divine allies pulled the drapes back to let light into a dark room that was full of denial and avoidance. My approach in working through the shit that's blocking me from seeing the true vision of myself has always been avoidance. But it's the kind of avoidance that it's where I recognize a particular behavior is screwed up. And so going forward, I won't do that anymore. But I don't go back and get into the what and whys of shit. I did my way of avoidance. Like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. So I don't have to really deal with it. But the universe deals in complete release and emotional freedom, which means getting into the what and why of the shit we do. I mean, I just simply closed my eyes and began to see the different relationships that I had been in. And I could see, I mean, literally all the many times that it was really about wanting to feel special. I could see the hell I was choosing to live in, trying to get and hold on to my fleeting feelings of specialness. And so just by saying it's possible, I had been chasing after feelings of specialness really helped me to see the unrealistic expectations and responsibilities I had really put on others in my relationships. That wasn't their responsibility. That was mine. But I externalized everything. Our truth is so beyond our notion of specialness that it's inconceivable. That's why right now we're too scared to even consider the possibility of our truth. And then we have to let go of the belief that love's attributes are owed to us. And I'm talking to myself as well because I was in that state of mind also. But when we accept our truth, the question is clear. How can we be owed something we innately are? Our task, as my divine ally said, is to keep our flame of love on fire. Manifest destiny will do the rest. This is my focus now. But straight vibes, no chasers. Every time I think too long on the possibilities of my wildfire, I get nervous. Oh, hell no. Listen, I get flat out scared. What, and this is what goes through my mind. What if my wildfire is so wild that it's destructive and hurtful? I mean, when I think about all the reckless and anxious, poor choices, all the stuff that I've done in my past, I mean, I really get scared. And then I go back to what feels comfortable and safe. And that's that whole romance with mediocrity. But what I've been doing lately is that I keep coming back to those what if thoughts. And as I go through them, I think, what if to the 10th power? My thought process is that if I figure if I keep coming back at those fears over and over again, each time I'll go a little bit further until I finally push beyond my fears. Listen, being the power and voice of love is easier said than done, especially when you're in a situation that pisses you off or you're dealing with a person that sets off all your triggers and bells. Our habitual knee-jerk reaction is always much more self-destructive. For me, I want to just punch somebody in the neck when they piss me off. But of course, that's not what evolutionary love is all about. Because, again, we rarely operate in our power of love. We also have to stop devoting all of our attention to looking in the wrong direction for love. If our quest for love doesn't start with the deep inward focus and appreciation, we're looking in the wrong direction. We are. Remember the simple truth of the law of attraction. Like attracts like. In other words, we draw the energy we hold, negative or positive. Energy is always attracted to similar or like-minded energy. So I'm just saying that we have to start doing the work of being the energy we want to experience. That music means it's time for The World According to Penny. Author and teacher Subanfu Sume said, the kind of passion, the kind of emotion and connection that Westerners look for from a romantic relationship, our village people look for from the spirit within us. Listen, our real work starts with restoring genuine self-love for who we are as individuals. This includes loving every situation and experience that brought us to our present state of being. Our long history in America, our battle for genuine freedom, our losses, our pain, our suffering, our culture, our community, all of it is what makes the essence of who we are run so deep and wide. They ask, how can African Americans continue to love a country that doesn't or can't love us back? The answer rests on a simple truth. We are the physical extension of love's non-physical divine spirit. And you can take that to the bank. We don't have to prove it. Throughout history, time and again, we've shown it. And that makes me proud. Listen, white America has bastardized the notion of self-love in the African American psyche. So much so that it lies wounded in our DNA. I said earlier, pulling back our truth, it won't be easy, but it's the evolutionary energy needed to write a new narrative. I'll say it again. We got some scary shit to do as individuals and as a community. What makes this evolution more demanding is we've been robbed of our self-love. Systematic bigotry, discrimination, and hostility have been the tools used against African Americans throughout slavery and Jim Crow. And it continues to be the gameplay on the 2021 field of white privilege. I said earlier, we have to speak truth to our fears, grapple with the uncomfortable truth that we really don't know when we're in the presence of love. I know this struggle all too well, hating the perception of myself. To explain this, I want to read to you an excerpt from my upcoming book, Giving Myself Permission, Putting Fear and Doubt in Their Place. The book is going to be out mid to late summer this year. I'm reading from the chapter, Doing Your Self-Work. Several years ago, after another disastrous relationship, I decided to put myself in timeout. I wanted to explore what masochistic need was causing me to repeatedly be drawn to three types of men. They either wanted to use me, control me, or break me emotionally. I started my quest for answers by asking others their opinions about why I was unsuccessful in attracting a meaningful and loving relationship. This turned out to be an excellent exercise of self-sabotage. The answers were varied, but mostly condescending and ignorant as hell. After a few years of this insanity, Spirit finally told me, you don't know love, or when you're in the presence of love. That's your stumbling block. If you don't know it, how can you recognize its nature or be receptive to it? Despite that revelation, I insisted that I did know love. And after a few months, it was damn near 2 years of denial, I finally admitted that other than my fantasies, I didn't know shit about love, nor did I know what Spirit meant by me not knowing when I was in the presence of love. And it got really intense when I had to unpack why I didn't know. It began with what I would consider a top water issue. For most of my adult life, whenever I looked into the mirror, I would see the strong resemblance of either my mother or my father. And I hated the sight of that likeness. Hence, I hated me. So I always felt unaccepted and rejected, robbed of my sense of self-love. Of all of my father's children, and he has several, I was the one he denied was his. And my mother, she never let me forget that. My father left when I was just 2 years old, so I was estranged from him for most of my life. From the time I was 10 years old, I was well aware of my mother's disdain toward me. So looking in the mirror and seeing either of those faces staring back aggrieved me. I found myself sitting on the side of the bathtub one day, staring into my huge wall-to-wall bathroom mirror. Just as I was turning away to leave in self-disgust, Spirit said, wait, just wait. Look again. This time, don't see them. see your spirit. See the features of love's spirit in you. I hesitated, never taking my eyes off the face in the mirror. I stood up and I slowly walked toward the mirror to get a closer look. I looked and I kept looking. Then Spirit said, "Do you see it? You are looking at the face of love. You are in the presence of love. Cherish and delight in it." Now, looking directly at my face, I didn't see any likeness of my mother or father. For the first time in my life, I saw only me. I saw me through the eyes of love. For the first time in my life, I could really look at the image in the mirror without shame, guilt, or fault. I kept staring as I watched warm tears of discovery, acceptance, and affection slowly journey down the cheeks of love. Me, love. All this time, I have been in the presence of love, and I never knew it. I now comprehended that love created me like itself. I embraced the ideal that being loved meant that I was loving, lovable, loved, and lovely. And this would only be the beginning of removing everything that ever stopped me from knowing love, from knowing me. As I said, that's just a small reading from my book, Giving Myself Permission, Putting Fear and Doubt in Their Place. It's scheduled to be out mid to late summer this year. Now, whenever I get to the end of every episode, I always ask my divine allies if we are complete. And, whenever I ask that, I usually walk away for a couple of days to allow them to speak to me. And then I came across Andrew Harvey's book, Evolutionary Love, Relationships, Passion, Authenticity, and Activism. And recognizing when we're in the presence of love is a journey of discovery, healing, and self-reconciliation. So when I came across Harvey's book and I was reading it, he suggests that several conditions or states of being must be in place for evolutionary love to emerge within our current social, cultural, or individual landscape. Now, I've kind of simplified some of his suggestions a bit, but the heart of this is Harvey's views. And of course, I wouldn't add his views if I didn't agree with them. But here's what I want to ask you to do. As I go through these conditions, don't just think in terms of you and a significant other, because that's Harvey's view. When in his book, he looks at it as two physical beings creating a relationship. But I want you to also consider these elements as they relate to the relationship we have with our conscious and spiritual self. See them metaphorically as, creating a relationship. That's what I want you to do. All right. Here we go. Here's some of the conditions to bring about evolutionary love. Each must have a deep and passionate individual receptiveness to the Supreme Spirit, or whatever name you have for spirit. Without both being grounded in the Supreme Spirit, the relationship will never manage or avoid the chaos and madness of life. Second thing, both must develop a capacity for solitude, the emotional and mental space where deep introspection and healing occurs. There must be an equality of power born out of a profound experience of the sacredness and dignity of the other person's soul. In addition to your whole self, your work and growth being rooted in spirit, you must also bring the sacred practice of prayer and meditation into the very core of the relationship. Both must completely abandon any Hollywood sentiments about what relationships actually are. Each is the safeguarder of the other's shadow self, not as the judge or the denier of the other's shadow self, but instead to recognize where the other has been wounded and then hold a safe space for each to do their self-work with unconditional compassion, yet at the same time, not allowing themselves to be attacked or manipulated by the other. You have to accept that the process of evolutionary love never ends. It never stops unfolding. You never stop discovering and evolving. You must honor that the relationship is grounded in the Supreme Spirit, and from the very beginning, it is infused with the sanctification of making each other more powerful, more reflective, and more passionately engaged in fulfilling their life's purpose. And finally, you have to commit to the relationship in a way that it is not just an oasis of private pleasure, but that you recognize the relationship also serves the universe in achieving the one profound truth of our time: to do the kind of work that empowers others to engage in a revolution that brings about evolutionary love, which is so desperately needed in this time. Remember, you are never the victim of life. You are always the student of purpose. So what skill or higher consciousness are you learning? What task or message are you being prepared for? I appreciate you tuning in to another episode of Straight Vibes, No Chasers, and I certainly hope you will continue to keep listening and to grow with me in this journey. If you like the show, please do me a favor. Leave me a comment. Or if you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast. Tell a friend. I'd appreciate it. Also, visit my website, pennymurray.com, to find out more about my work and how you can support or be a part of the dialogue on Straight Vibes, No Chasers. Again, thanks for listening. And as always, I leave you with my closing assertion for your life. You are as Spirit created you, endowed with power and authority to manifest positive outcomes and the divine wisdom to bring about meaningful change. Give yourself permission to trust, live, create, and speak your life's truth. Ashe.
You've been listening to Straight Vibes, No Chasers with Dr. Penny Murray. Listen and subscribe to our podcast from your mobile device with your favorite podcast app. If you have any questions, topic ideas, comments, or want to invite Dr. Murray to speak at your next event, go to contact us at pennymurray.com. If you're in the North Dallas, Texas area, we invite you to become a member of the Inner Wellness community by taking part of the African American Council on Fear.